We are ready to start, so let's get it started. Okay, I don't know if you have the same, but when I learn a new language, or framework, or just a new technology, I like to create small applications that help me better understand what I'm learning right now. And quite often, it turns out that that small applications ignite a fire in me to create something big. I remember when I first time discovered Google Material Design, it was like, oh my god, now I can make applications that looks beautiful and looks professional. And after that, I was like, okay, now that I can use material design, let's go and create something big. And when I was thinking why Twitter was successful, or why Instagram is successful, or in general, what makes an application successful, I came up with an idea that the best applications are the best, not because they are the best, but because they solve problems. So if I want to create something big, my app needs to solve problem. In general, I don't have many problems in my life, but there are two that annoys me quite big. The first one is when I'm going back home after a hard day at work, and I miss my train. I'm like, gosh, I wish I have some kind of application that will loud and clear notify me, hey, it's time for you to go home. If you don't leave office in 1 minute, you will miss your train. And the second one is when I go shopping, I would like to have some kind of, I would say, live connection between me and my fridge to check whether I need to buy some more beer, or do I need to buy anything. And yes, I know that probably some 10 years old kid somewhere in China, Russia, United States already did that application and solved my problem. Or I can use Google Assistant to help me, to notify me when it's the best time to leave the work. But it's not about it. It's about me. It's about my idea. It's that strong belief in me that if I create that application, I will be rich, I will be famous, I will have no other problems. And what I'm doing then? Okay. What I'm doing then? I have the feeling that I need to start coding. I need to start coding right now because I have a lot of fire in me and I don't want to miss that moment. But I have a 1-year-old daughter, and the only part of the day when I can start coding is around 11 p.m. when everyone in home is sleeping. There's dark out there, there's quiet, there's only me, and this actual photo of my computer. That's how it looks like. There's only me, my computer, we create Unity, and I can start coding. In short time, I can see much progress in my application. I start coding, and new feature just, boom, boom, boom. I have new feature in my application, the second one, the third one. But after very few productive hours, I can see that I have several problems. Every time I have it, I can spot several problems, the same problems. The first problem is I use mock data instead of real DB API. What I mean by that? I don't have time to configure and create database, so I don't do it. I just want my application, to rise, to grow. I just want to add new features. But if I create database, if I decide to create database, that means I also need some kind of API that will serves me that data, that allows me to save data, load data from that DB, and it means I need to spend more time to doing the API stuff than actual my application, that implementing the features I would like to have. The second one is I want to have user accounts, but I don't want to implement login register functions. of course, I can use I can use providers like Google, like Twitter, like GitHub. It's okay, but I need to configure it. I need to waste time for it, and I've done it like several times. It was awesome for the first time, the second one, but right now, if I need to add another Google services like Google login button, sorry about that, it's not sexy. Like, I mean, it's boring. Who does that? The third one, I want to deploy it somewhere, but I don't want to pay for it. And again, I don't want to waste my time to configure that deployment. Of course, I can use Heroku, for example. It's great, it's free, I can use it, but still, I need to stop coding, I need to start creating my awesome application, and I need to switch to Heroku, configure it, waste time. I don't want to do it. In general, I waste time implementing boring features instead of sexy ones. I want my application, I want that fire to burn. I want my application to have a lot more features. I don't want to waste my time, implementing logging with Google or DB. And some time ago, I found a solution to my problems. And as you suspect, it's Firebase. I use Firebase in almost all applications that I write for my own. That small applications that we all create, to just better understand a new mechanism that we are learning right now. And you can use it to keep your internal fire burning much longer. Okay, when you go to firebase.com, you will see that infographic describing what is Firebase and how you can use it. As you can see, Firebase helps you building better apps by providing you with services for hosting, for databases, for authentication, and of course, it also allows you to improve your app quality by getting you reports about crashes, about performance, all that stuff. And unfortunately, we don't have whole day to talk about Firebase. So in my talk, I will focus on those three features that Firebase provides us. I will show you how in a few clicks you can add user authentication to your application, how you can create Firebase, how you can create Firestore. It is real-time database that will store data for you, that will serve that data to your application. And at the end, how you can use Firebase hosting services, just to go live and make your app visible to the world. All right, I have a request for you guys. I would like to get better. If you have your phones, open that website. It's bit.ly/gdgfire. We all came from different countries. We all came from different cities. Some of us are still students. Some of us, like me, finished studies a few years ago. But I assume we have something in common. I assume most of our programmers. And everyone has some habits. So please visit that site and take a short survey. And I will open it for you. Okay, the results are displaying. Let's have one more minute. Okay, so as you can see in here, most of us has less than 2 years of experience, but we have one person that has experienced more than 10 years. Mostly we are web developers, desktop and mobiles. Yeah, I like both as well, that's my option as well. Oh, that's nice. It's almost even, double and single quotes. And I didn't expect that. And favorite IDE is IntelliJ. All right, thank you for that. Let's get back to the presentation. Okay, and what if I tell you that displaying and syncing the results after fetching it from the database is only those 2 lines? I'm not seeing. Can you see that? Can you see the code? Okay, so it's only 2 lines just for displaying the results. What if I tell you that to authenticate, because obviously you can't see the results, or maybe you can. I will show you how it works in a minute. Adding login with Google button is only 1 line. I mean 1 line in HTML to display it, and only 1 line in TS file to get it work. And what if I tell you that if I want to make it live, I just need to type 2 words: firebase deploy. That's it. It's all configured, and it's that simple. Okay, and if that's okay for you, if that's awesome, I will show you how I made it. But before that, I will make a little disclaimer. You can use Firebase to work with many technologies, with many different technologies. You can use Firebase services on iOS, on Android, even on C++ applications, and even in Unity. In this talk, I will talk about how to use Firebase in Angular application, because as we all seen that most of our here are web developers. I assume you know what Angular is, so I'll show you how I made it. If you want to use Firebase in Angular, I highly recommend using those 2 packages. Angular Fire 2 is official Angular library. Sorry, it's official Angular library for Firebase, and Firebase package is just Firebase library for all web applications. You can use it in your favorite web technology. It's of course written in JS, but you can use it in React or just plain vanilla JavaScript. All right, so let's get back to my problems. Problem number 1, I use mock data instead of real DB API. How can I solve that problem? The solution is simple: use Cloud Firestore. Question number 2, what is Cloud Firestore? Cloud Firestore is NoSQL database that gives you real-time experience. It also scales automatically, has support for, it gives you access, you can create rules that will limit access to write or read to certain collections. It has built-in support for offline operations and support for transactions, made super easy with Angular Fire 2. And on top of that, it's currently in beta. But no worries, it still works awesome, and you can still use it. I will show you how. All right, it's now time for demo. And to duplicate. Okay. So I have created a small Angular application. Let me show it to you. I have prayed to the demo gods. Let's see if they are with me. Okay. I want to add new question to my survey. What should I do? Right now it's not working. I can click here, I can click here, it's not working. I need to create a database in Firebase called Firestore. You just click here, create new database, and you have it. And create new collection. Let me switch to English version. Okay, so I'm adding a collection called questions. It's not important right now. I'm in the first document. Okay, so right now I have collection. Let's use it in my application. What should I do? I will need a handle to that collection. So let's call it questions collection. And it's type of Angular firebase Firestore collection. And it contains question elements. Okay. Question, sorry. All right. I'm using Angular Firestore. Sorry, I'm using Angular Fire 2. So they ship me with special service to communicate with that collection. So let's use it. It's called Angular Firestore. And I need to import it. Okay, I already have it. The next one is obviously I need a question I will add. So I need a question to add. Type of question. Okay. And the next one, I need to connect with that collection. So it's super easy. It's just 2 lines. Sorry, I need to get rid of that. Sorry about that. Let's get to the state where everything's been working. Okay. So I need a question to add. And right now I need to use it, so I will say that this question collection comes from collection and it is questions collection. Okay, so right now I have collection and I can save data into this collection. So let's do it. I need one helper method called addAnswer. It's just I need to create this question to add this new question. Okay, and now it's time for the most exciting part. Question. All right, I can simply do it by this question collections. Question to add. But what will happen now? Let's see. Okay, let's switch back to my application. So I'm entering new question like test, and simple answer like test. I click here, and I get an error. This error is saying that object I want to add needs to be a type of object, but it was custom question object. So we need to do an ID hack. And just saying that and now it is object. Okay, and this question to add equals new question. Okay, let's see if that's working. Oh, sorry. Sure, I need to use it. Okay, no error here. And I have new document in here, test and test 2, that's it. And I've mentioned that Firestore is real-time database. What does it mean? I will show you in this way. Okay, so this is my application. Okay, I will demonstrate it in a moment. Let's display all questions from my database in here. How do I do it? It's also super easy. I need to have a handle to question values, question collection values. All right. It's going this way. Questions, and this is question list. So it's all observable type of question. Okay. And now I need to use an event from question collection. Value changes. Each time value from this collection changes, I will set it to questions. Okay. And yeah, let's display it in my HTML. So let's do it that way. Sorry. And for that question, questions. Async. Okay, and let's display the question. Question, okay. Okay, and now they are displaying, both documents are displayed. And what is real time? I said real time. Let's see it in action. So let's assume I change it to hello Wrocław. I update it, and that's it. It's updated in my client. All right. The second problem I had was I want to implement user accounts, but I don't want to implement login register mechanism. I can use firebase authentication services to do it. What's the difference between authentication and authorization? One image is better than thousands of words. So let the Stack Overflow speak for me. So I will use Firebase authentication. So I will have login and password. Google will tell me who you are, but not if you are allowed to see this resource. And I can have it done by, I can use Google Google identity provider. I can use Facebook, I can use Twitter, I can use GitHub, all of them. Let's see how we can do it. Okay, so first thing first, I need to enable this in my project. So I need to enable Google authentication in here. And since we are running out of time, I have prepared, obviously I have prepared earlier. So let me check out that revision, and I'll talk about this code. I will not do the live coding. I discarded the wrong file, but no worries. I still have it. These are the configuration to my firebase project. Okay, so let's switch in here. Git master, git check master. All right, and gsub. So what I did here, I've created a new component, add new question secure. It's displaying the same component we also on the previous demo, but on top of that, but if I want to see it, I need to be authenticated. Okay, it's still okay. Ouch. So I need to log in to see this component. I can click login with Google button. All right, and that's me. I am authenticated. All right, and how to do it? I just need to implement two methods. I mean, just one method, login method. I just need to use Angular paired auth services, and all I did was use sign in with pop-up telling I need to use Google Auth Provider. The same way you can use to use Facebook, GitHub, Twitter, phone, whatever you want. It's built in. Okay, and I have it. And if I'm authenticated, I can display user display name. I can, as you have seen it, I have access to photo of that user if the user has photo, and of course email. And that's the result. So just 2 clicks, and I have authentication by Google. All right, let's get back in here. And the first problem was I want to deploy it somewhere, but I don't want to pay for it. So how can we solve this problem? Guess what? Deploy it on Firebase, and guess what too? Downtime. Okay. How to deploy it? It's also super easy. First of all, I need to delete something. I will get it through. I will get you through it. First of all, I need to say that I want to use Firebase to deploy it. So I need to configure small. I need to make some small configuration. Yes, I want to proceed. What services I would like to use? So I can use database to deploy Firebase real-time database rules. I can use functions. I can use storage. I mean, deploy cloud storage security rules. I just need hosting. So I'm selecting it. And which project would you like to host? So it's Angular Wrocław live demo. Sorry, it's not Angular Wrocław. It's GTG. That's live demo. Okay. Which directory have the artifacts I would like to deploy? So let's use it. Let's copy it from here. Okay. No, and that's it. The initialization is complete. As you can see, that page is not working right now. It's empty, site not found. And right now, I just need to make a production build. I have already did that. And right now, if I have it, as you can see in here, all I need to do is just firebase deploy. I'm crossing my fingers, praying to demo gods. New version was released. All right, so let's check it. Yay. That's it. Okay. Why it's not displaying? Yeah, I love that. Okay, let me open a new. Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, so my final problem was I waste time implementing boring features instead of sexy ones. So the solution is just use Firebase, and you can ask me how much will that love cost you. So this is pricing for Cloud Firestore. Left column is the free plan. It limits you to 10 projects. So you have 1 gig for storage data. You can make 20K writes and 50K reads per day. And also you can delete. The middle one is if you pay $25 each month. And the third one, the last one, is pay as you go. So that's for Firestore. Authentication will cost you nothing. That's obviously. Unless you want to use it, you won't use phone authentication. If you want to use phone authentication, it will cost you. Okay, I don't know how many, but okay, sorry. You have 10 Ks of success authentication each month, or you can pay 6 cents. All right. And hosting, you have 1 gig of storage and 10 gig of transfer in free plan. And but you can pay $25 to have 50 gigs of to have 50 gigs of transfer. You can find more price at Firebase page. And let's get now to the most important slide of that presentation right now. It's a slide about me. Who am I and what I'm doing? I'm senior software engineer at Capgemini. I do code reads for a living. I'm a professional code reader. That's what I do for the most of my day. I am host of Tech Talk Online. You can check it on Capgemini Facebook's profile. I like to code. I play FIFA in my spare time. And I have a big request for you guys. If you have Twitter, please follow me on Twitter. Please tweet about this presentation if you like it. If you don't like it, don't tweet about it. Just just come to me and say I didn't like it, or direct message me. I'm joking. You can write whatever you want. And yeah, that would be all for it. Thank you guys for attending. Do you have any questions? If yes, feel free to ask them. If you want to ask them in public, you can catch me and we can have a talk. Okay, so I won't keep you here. It's your time, it's your break. Use it. Thank you guys.